So, what do we want to talk about? I know I'm a little late to this party, and this is probably really old news to you. But anyway, let's get to it. So as you know, Konami's Metal Gear Production Hotline 2 in Japan has given more insight into MGS3 Delta, and including the Master Collection Volume 2. But first up, we have a side-by-side of the original and the remake, as Konami have released some new footage of Delta. Obviously the game looks beautiful, but to be honest, even the original looks incredible. And it was probably the best graphically during the PS2 era, in my opinion. In the intro, Delta doesn't include a Hideo Kojima game, but instead now says based on MGS3. There are all the voice actors that are still there in the Japanese and the West. Of course, they've all just been buffed up from the PlayStation 2 days, so everything is a 1-to-1 ratio. Producer Noriaki Okamura has stated the development team would rather come down on the side of Too Faithful than make big changes compared to the original, as some people have reported saying the game is too much alike, but then on the other hand saying that they want the game to be a 1-to-1 remake. I guess you can't please everyone. However, in the new production hotline video, Okamura explained that through the process behind maintaining the original vision of the game. In the original game, the world is broken up into smaller areas, but your actions in one area doesn't impact the other, resetting your alert status when spotted by the guards, for instance. This still does remain the same in the remake. Okamura reportedly understands the criticism and says it's the development team's most hotly debated issue, but that's just how the game was designed. He's quoted saying the rhythm and the shifting pace of the gameplay flows from that choice, he continued. If we had done anything to change the overarching design, it would have changed the game entirely, and given on what we are setting out to do, we questioned whether that really fit with the vision of this project. End quote. And to quote again, so we decided that we'd rather come down on the side of Too Faithful and that we'd rather maintain the original design of MGS3 instead of trying to rework everything. To add to this, we were also shown a pie chart of how MGS3 Delta's demo was received by the Western audience, and those who have managed to play it. Them lucky bastards.
Bastard.
So 88% are positive, whilst 12% are still crying about it being not exactly like MGS5. The positive notes that were a faithful recreation down to fine details, amazing graphics and visuals, and can now move whilst crouched, smoother controls, aiming and love and respect for the original. The negatives were adheres too closely to the original, doesn't feel fresh, outdated, loading screens in new areas, and notable features or content. But if 88% are positive, then it looks like we're good. The big question is that everyone is asking is when Metal Gear Solid Delta is going to be released. According to Okamura, there's no official release date yet, but the game is being playable from start to finish and it is ready to go right now. The team is ensuring everything is in place and working correctly though before they release it. It seems that they're keen on avoiding another disaster though, like the rough launch of Master Collection Volume 1. Of course, the second question is, when are we getting Master Collection Volume 2? They've confirmed it is in development and they are working on it, but it faces its own set of challenges. After the issues with Volume 1, they are determined to make sure the next release is smoother. Okamura even acknowledges by saying, and I quote, "Of course we called the first Volume 1, so we are making Volume 2. That much is for sure, but we just have to ask for everyone to give us time." End quote. After Metal Gear Solid 1 and 3 were featured in Volume 1, it's widely expected that Volume 2 will continue Snake's story with Metal Gear Solid 4, especially since that the game has remained solely on the PS3. As Okamura hinted previously, and I quote, "You can probably connect the dots" when discussing in the inclusion of Metal Gear Solid 4. And to quote Okamura again, "Right now we are still internally concerned about what we should be doing with the future of the series. So sorry, we can't really reveal anything at the moment, but stay tuned." End quote. Hinting at the idea that there's possibly more remakes in the future coming of the beloved titles of MGS. And my last question is about Metal Gear Solid Rising, if it will be available in Japan again after it was restricted.
The memes.
In July, Metal Gear Solid Rising Revengeance had a brief digital release that was mistakenly available in Japan, sparking excitement among Japanese fans. However, it was quickly restricted and the game is no longer purchasable there. The release was originally intended only for North America, and due to a technical glitch it became briefly accessible in Japan. Konami has since apologised for the mix-up, acknowledging the disappointment for fans. While many are hoping for an official release in Japan, there's just currently no news on that happening straight away, and given on Konami's focus on other projects, it seems unlikely we'll see a change anytime soon. But there is still hope that the Japanese port might still be there in the future.
いよいよ
9月は東京ゲームショウ2024ですが、
はい、
今年もメタルギア出展するんでしょうか。
はい、なんとですね。
And there's exciting news because Konami is hosting a small event with demo stations where fans can get hands-on with the game, including anyone from the general public. It looks absolutely incredible, as they've even recreated scenery from the game using everyone's favourite material, including mine, cardboard. Konami has also announced their plans to do Metal Gear Production Hotline Episode 3's livestream at the Tokyo Game Show, happening on September the 29th this year. You are guaranteed to see more in-game cutscenes and gameplay footage. If I wasn't so broke, my ass would be on a flight to Japan playing that demo right now, and I'm sure plenty of you would be doing the same. Maybe some of you can sneak onto a plane to infiltrate the Tokyo Game Show. It's going to be insane, especially with Kojima himself presenting Death Stranding 2 on the beach. We can only imagine how awkward it's going to be though, considering the messy breakup with Konami, knowing that Kojima created the Metal Gear series, but now his name has been completely wiped off it. And let's be honest, more eyes are probably going to be on MGS3, Kojima's masterpiece, which will likely overshadow his presentation of Death Stranding 2. Let's face it, there are way more MGS fans out there than Death Stranding fans, but compared to a Gamescom which was a disaster, I think this Tokyo's game show is going to be something else. So everything's shaping up to be quite the storm. I'm not saying it's likely, but hopefully once the demos at Tokyo Game Show are presented, Konami might release a demo on Steam, Xbox and PlayStation. I've got a feeling that come the 29th, we'll probably get a confirmed release date. And my guess is early 25 just after Christmas, since the game seems ready to go. Well, with all that news, I'd love to know what you guys think. Get in the comments section and tell me all about it, comrades. Thanks for watching, don't forget to hit the sub button, turn on notifications, and give me a nice big thumbs up. Until we meet again.
Approaching Soviet airspace.
20 minutes to drop off.
Commencing internal depressurization. Equipment check. Arm main parachute.
All right, you ready to go?
Drop zone still showing a high pressure mass. Cav okay.
Good, we've got high visibility.